Hello friends! I almost said happy Thursday, but this week it is happy Wednesday. I am here a day early this week to share a card class with you. It's October 1st. I don't know about you, but I cannot believe that it is October already. In the Stampin' Up! World, it is the start of our brand new year. Our year runs October 1st to September 30th. And Stampin' Up! Is starting the year off with a bang. There are so many things going on. I don't know about you, but it's hard to keep them all straight. So I'm going to give a few reminders here before we get started with our card class. And if you want more information about any of these things, just tag me in the comments. You can send me a message and reach out and ask all your questions. I am happy to give you more information about any of these things I'm going to talk about. This week, we are doing the Gathering Together Suite collection. The cards this week are beautiful. Two of them are from a creative convention I participated in over the last weekend, and the third one is cased from Ange McKay, and I think that was another card from a creative site that I belong to. So all the cards this week are cased, but I think they are gorgeous, and I think you're going to love them. If you would like this week's card kit, you get an extra day to shop this week because our class is taking place on Wednesday instead of Thursday. And so all you have to do is spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after Stampin' Rewards, and I will send you a card kit to make our 3 cards today. And as a bonus this week to celebrate the beginning of the new Stampin' Up! Year, I am also sending 10 handmade cards from my stash with every card kit. So a little extra incentive for ordering this week. Part of the reason that I'm doing that, some of you know it has been my goal for a long time to earn an incentive trip. I ended the last Stampin' Up! Year with between 17 and 18,000 points. We need 40,000 to earn the trip. So today is a fresh start. We are earning now for a trip to Costa Rica. And so every order counts towards that, as well as some other things. But I so appreciate your business, and I want to give you a little extra incentive for ordering this week and starting my year off strong. I have my new trip tracker for Costa Rica. So I will share updates throughout the year with you on how that is going, but I'm really excited to color in the first box. So maybe your orders will help me do that this week. This week on Saturday is World Card Making Day. It's a great day for paper crafters all over the world. Stampin' Up! Is celebrating by hosting a virtual event. The event is free, but if you register for it, they will send you reminder emails, a link to find the video easily, and all of that. They're using one of the kits from our kits collection, the Handmade and Heartfelt kit, which is really cute. I love it. And I heard mentioned this week that everyone who's registered, there's some kind of gift or prize. And I was trying to remember back to last year. I think they may have given us a coupon. So I have no guarantee about what that is or what is coming. But I know I definitely registered because I don't want to miss out on whatever that extra little something is for people who are registered. When I'm done, I will put the registration link in the description of the video so you can register too and make sure that you get in on the fun. Even if you cannot watch live, the replay will be available and everything will be sent to you in your email, so it's easy to find. There is an amazing starter kit offer this month. It started today. There's actually 2 options. With both options, you get $90 free product. I can hardly believe that. It is the best offer I have seen since I have been a demonstrator for almost 13 years. Maybe once or twice they've had a specific product added on to the starter kit that was worth more, but I don't know. This one is pretty good. And you can join us for only $35. How awesome is that? It is so much fun to be a part of Stampin' Up! Anyone is welcome. If you are not a current demonstrator, you can take advantage of the offer. So it's either pay $35 and pick out $125 of product, or pay $99 and pick out $189 of product. So it's the same amount of free product with both options. There are definitely pros to both So it just depends kind of what you want to do. If you want that crafting advent calendar, which is amazing, let me tell you, this is a way to get it at a lower cost. If you have had your eye on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you could add that to the $99 option and save a little bit of money. Both options are free shipping. You also get a free past paper pumpkin kit in your starter kit. You'll get a 20% discount on your future orders through at least April. And you get to be a part of our fun community. So my team is called the Cactus Crafters. The team that I'm a part of is the Not So Average Stampers. Both groups are awesome groups of people. We do lots of fun things. We do challenges, both creative and business. We do crafting together. We get to know each other, encourage each other, and it's just fun to be a part of a group with like-minded people. Not to mention all the stuff that Stampin' Up! Does for demonstrators. It's just awesome. So $35 is a great time to try it out. And you get to pick whatever you want. There's so many things to choose from right now. If you purchase a starter kit with the special this month, you can also add products from our November online exclusive release, which is not available to customers until the beginning of November. Demonstrators get to pre-order right now. So if you buy a starter kit, you can join us on that also. So let me know if you have questions, or I will put a link in the description for the starter kit also, and you can start building yours. And we would love to welcome you to our team. What else? The last chance section of the store was updated today. So there are some new things there that are retiring. Some things are discounted, and all of those things are gone for good once they sell out of that category in the store. So if you see something that you really like, make sure that you get it before it's gone for good. What else? We had 3 new kits launched today. They are all Christmas kits. One is Christmas cards. One is gift tags, which is super cute. It is nutcrackers, which I love. I don't know if any of you are nutcracker fans, but they are super cute tags. And then we have a memory keeping Christmas kit also. So fun stuff. I did want to mention about the advent calendar in one of our videos this week. They said it was selling fast. I don't think it's on our low inventory list yet. I'm not sure what selling fast means, how the forecast is for how much longer it's going to be available. But I wouldn't wait if you want to get that. That's just my little warning for you, because I don't want you to miss out, and I think it is awesome. I am happy to share more of the contents. I opened up all of the boxes yesterday. So some of you saw my picture on Facebook with the box. I don't want to spoil the surprise for anybody, but if you would like to know more, just send me a message and I will be happy to share. Okay, let's see. One last thing. Stampin' Up! Launched today a craft class. This is something new that they are trying. And it's $30, and what you are paying for is just a class fee. So the $30 is like your ticket to the event. It's a virtual crafting event, and you are going to supply all of your own products. This time the projects will be using the Traditions of Christmas Suite collection. So if you already own that, this might be a fun thing for you. And I think there's 4 projects. I'll put a link to the page in the online store. But that page has a list of all the supplies you'll need, and you can purchase it there. It has sneak peeks of the projects. The event itself is October 23rd at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. But again, the replay will be available later. And I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. Their projects are always great. If you participated in the scrapbooking retreat, I think this is kind of a similar idea on a smaller scale. So they'll have people sharing tips and techniques and making the projects. You will get instructions. You'll get the videos, of course, and then you can make the projects. And so I think it sounds like a lot of fun. They're going to try more of these in the future with different types of projects and different price points. So this is just the first try. And I don't know, try it out and let us know what you think. All right, I think that is all of my reminders. It is a lot going on. It is hard to keep track. I get it, so let me know if you have any questions about any of those things. All right, I'm going to flip the camera down and we are going to get started on our cards for this week. So I'm here a day early this week because we are deep into sports season now. My daughter started volleyball games this week and my husband is one of her coaches. So tomorrow we have a game across town and we have to leave early in the afternoon. And my husband got permission to work from home tomorrow, so I don't have this space available tomorrow to do my video. So we are going a day early this week, which is good. All right, this is the suite of products we are working with today. The Gathering Moments bundle, and this stamp set is distinctive. So it's one where you'll see when we stamp these images, but they kind of have some texture to them, even though it's just a single stamp, right? Some neat kind of thankful sentiments, and then the dies are really cool. So we have the open dies to cut out all the images, and then we've got these really large leaf images. So you can cut the solid leaf. We'll use one of those on the second card. You can also put these pieces in and die cut with it, and it will die cut holes, and you can use the thread to stitch your leaves, which is really fun. I haven't done that yet, but it's cool. And these are really large, so if you are more into scrapbooking, these are good pieces to add to your scrapbook because they're a larger scale, like a 12 by 12 page. You know, they won't just get lost like some of the little pieces. So fun set. Then we have the embellishments. We have Cajun Craze and gold dots. You can see they're kind of shimmery and pretty. They're in 3 different sizes. We have the Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread pack. So these come together in one pack. We have, let me get this piece. We'll do the paper last. We have the Gathering Leaves embossing folder. This is one of our large embossing folders. And it's just a nice little leaf pattern in the background. I think this one is good because it's a small pattern and that's really nice for just background pieces on your cards and your projects. And then the paper is gorgeous. It has champagne foiling, basic beige, Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, crushed curry, Old Olive. I don't know if I'm forgetting some. I didn't bring the list in here. But it's really pretty. You can see the foiling on there. Isn't that gorgeous? Then the back side of this one is just a basic beige wash. This one is really pretty. You have to look kind of carefully to see the details. It's got that foiling, and then it has basic beige, and there's little acorns in there, and mushrooms and leaves. It's just a nice, subtle pattern. How about this one? Everybody loves their plaids. Cajun Craze and crushed curry. Then this one has the foiling, along with crushed curry and basic beige. This is a fun one. It's Early Espresso, and can you see they almost look like little bubbles to me? So that's kind of a fun pattern. We've got another leaf pattern, more of that pretty foiling in there. A basic beige pattern. This one would also work well for Christmas cards. It is Old Olive. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but the stripes are that foiling, which is really pretty. That would be really elegant for Christmas. And then we've got Early Espresso. This almost looks like tree bark to me. And then one more leaf pattern with all the colors and that foiling. And this one is Cajun Craze, and this is the same pattern that's on the embossing folder. So really, really pretty paper. All right, we are going to get to making our cards today. If you are watching, make sure you say hi and comment. I like to send the cards that I make every week, and so I draw random winners from everyone who comments on the video. It doesn't have to be live. If you're watching later, feel free to comment and say hi too. Let me know what you think of the cards. Ask a question about one of those things I talked about at the beginning. Whatever you want. Excuse me. The interaction helps me And then I get to send out these cards that I'm making, which is a lot of fun also. All right, this is our first card today. And this one is a nice layout that you could use with other designer series papers too. But it really shows off the paper because it's a larger piece, and I like that because this paper is really pretty. So for this one, I have a basic beige card base, 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half. Then we have a piece of the designer series paper that is 2 7/8 by 4 7/8. I don't know about you. I don't mind those teeny tiny measurements, but if you are a person that does mind, don't worry. In this card kit, it will already be cut for you. The reason it's cut like that is because this Cajun Craze piece is 3 inches by 5 inches, and it just has a very narrow border. So that's why we have the 7/8 measurements, which sometimes are a little bit tricky, but on the Stampin' Trimmer, they're pretty easy to find. And Laura is watching. Hi, Laura. Thank you for joining me today. Finding me on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. All right, and this piece we are just going to add to our card base flat. And I hope I don't run out of my Stampin' Seal because I didn't bring my refill in, but I can go grab one pretty quick if I do. Okay, then we have a piece of white to stamp our little sprigs on, and this is punched out of the Heartfelt Hexagon punch. That's a great one to have in your collection. It is nice for sentiments. So we are going to use Early Espresso ink for a sentiment that says many thanks. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit more towards the bottom than towards the center, so I have room for those little sprigs up at the top. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card so I don't lose it when I move it out of the way. And we'll add that with a few dimensionals. Okay, then we're going to use this little white piece and my Cajun Craze ink. And I have my little sprig here. We're just going to stamp that twice. Now with these distinctive stamps, you don't want to get too much ink on or you will lose some of that dimension. But if you look at it, it's really cool because it's one stamp, but you get some of the texture and dimension. And those are called distinctive stamps. We have several sets like that. All right, I am going to grab my dies to cut these out. And the nice thing about this one is there's actually 2 dies, so you can cut them both out at the same time. I like when Stampin' Up! Does that because then we only have to run it through once. So I'm going to get these lined up here, and then we'll run it through our machine. Yep, got to be quiet and concentrate. Okay. Hopefully it won't move too much. We'll go right on through. Perfect. Okay, let's grab those. Move this out of the way. I'm going to put my dies back so I don't lose those, because that would not be good. All right, now we're just going to use a few glue dots and add these to the top of our hexagon punch here. And let's see, we'll start on this side. Put one off to the side there. And let's see, one like that. Okay, then I'm going to grab my Early Espresso linen thread and just tie a bow. When I did in-person card classes a long time ago, I think it was when I still lived in Colorado, I had a friend that would come to my card classes, and she just really hated whenever we used linen thread or baker's twine. I don't know what it was about it. She did not like it. And so I always think of her when I am using it, but I actually really like linen thread and baker's twine because they are nice and flat for mailing. They're not too bulky to add like a lot of, I don't know, stuff to your project. That's just like a subtle little embellishment, which I like. Okay, I am going to add a few of these Cajun Craze dots here with my Take Your Pick tool. I remembered to bring it in here today, so that's good. If the only thing I forgot was my Stampin' Seal plus refill, will be good. I always forget something. So I mainly do most of my crafting on my kitchen counter, and this room that I'm doing my video in is our office where my husband works from home 3 days a week, and all my stuff is in here, but I kind of cart it back and forth. So that's why sometimes I forget things. All right, here is our first card. Kind of simple, but very pretty, especially with that paper. So I'm going to tuck that in here, and I'll send that to somebody who is commenting. All right, let's move on to our second card. This one, too, was part of the creative convention that I attended. And if you order and get the card kit this week, this is exactly how it comes. It'll be sorted into an envelope for you, and you will get all these pieces. So you just provide your own stamps and ink. You can choose whatever embellishments or twine that you want. You can use some you already have. When I'm done, I will put a list in the description of the video of some products you might want to add to your order this week, and I'll include everything that I used here so you can purchase the same things if you want, or you can make substitutions. All right, this one has a thick basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and we will fold that in half. Then I use that green stripe piece of the Designer Series paper. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then we're going to layer it onto a piece of white that is 3 3/4 by 5. And it just kind of gives another layer here. I suppose you could leave this extra white layer out, but it's kind of nice. When I was following the instructions from the Creative Convention, it said this white layer was a piece of Designer Series paper, and I thought, well, that would be kind of cool, but you see so little of it, I didn't want to waste a piece that large, so I just made it a white layer. All right, then I have a Cajun Craze leaf here, and I used this die to cut it out. I did not use the stitching part. And we're just going to distress it a little bit. So if you were doing this on your own and you were die cutting, you could distress the cardstock a little bit before you die cut. But in your card kit, I want to include the leaf for you. So I die cut it first, and now we'll distress it. You don't have to do this part, but I kind of like the weathered look a little bit. So I'm just folding it carefully. You want to be careful of the stem at the bottom so you don't accidentally rip it off. But you're just kind of breaking down the paper a little bit to give it more of a weathered, wrinkled look, and you can do as much or as little of that as you want. I'm going to be careful of my stem there. Then we're going to unfold it again, and I'm just going to add it to my card, and it's okay if some of it sticks up. That's kind of what we're going for, is a little bit of dimension and texture for our card. So like that. All right, then I have a piece of white here. We're going to use 2 of the leaves from the stamp set. I'm going to stamp my larger leaf first in Cajun Craze ink. Do you use Cajun Craze ink a lot? I find that I really only use it during fall. And the rest of the year, my Cajun Craze ink sits on the shelf. Same with the paper. I mostly use it during fall, and that's all. All right, then I'm going to use Old Olive ink for the other leaf here. Like that. And again, you see they have some dimension. And I should have kept my Cajun Craze ink out because we are going to use that for our sentiment also. And this fun little label here is from the Traditional Labels dies. We did that bundle, I think it's been a few weeks now. It's a Christmas bundle, but the label dies are awesome. And this one fits this sentiment perfectly. Thankful for you. Okay, I'm going to scoot that out of the way. We're going to bring our die cutting machine back in and cut out these leaves here. So let me grab the dies for those. And just like, I forget if it was last week or the week before, where I told you the dies did not quite butt up right to the edge of the stamped image. There was a little white outline around. These dies are like that too. So maybe they are just making them differently now. I don't know. It used to be that the die, when you put it over your image, like lined up straight with the edge of the image, and you couldn't see that white border until after you die cut. But now I feel like I can see the white border before I die cut. So I don't know if it's just certain sets or that's how all of them are now, but I thought that was interesting. Doesn't make too much of a difference. You just want to get them centered on there. Okay, let's finish assembly here. So these leaves we're just going to add with our Stampin' Seal. And we're just going to kind of center them on that large Cajun Craze leaf. Like that. Now before I add my sentiment, I'm going to grab the old olive thread and tie a bow. And we're going to put that underneath. And you can decide how big or small you want your bow to be, just so long as it peeks out from behind that label. Now, we're going to use a mini glue dot, and that'll help hold this in place. I'll just put it right at the bottom of those leaves, kind of at an angle. Then we're going to use a few dimensionals for the sentiment. And I'm going to kind of arrange this so that it peeks out there. Put my sentiment down. You can play with this a little bit if you want after you've got the sentiment down. There we go. All right, and then we have to add a few of our Cajun Craze dots to finish off. These are really pretty. Who would have thought I would like a whole sheet of Cajun Craze embellishments? I don't know. Not me, because like I said, Cajun Craze is not a color I gravitate towards. But these are really pretty. And there goes the sticky from my Take Your Pick tool. This is a newer one, and I feel like the sticky part just wants to keep coming out more than I want it to. All right, so there is our second card. All right, let me find my envelope here. We will tuck that one in for a lucky winner. And it is time for our third card. This one might be my favorite. Now this one I didn't copy exactly. So the first two were from the creative convention I attended with Rhonda Wade designed those. And those are copied pretty much exactly. This one I cased from Ange McKay. And I used her layout on the same stamp set. I just chose different colors. Hers was actually really pretty, and I thought about doing it. She actually used the Petunia Pop pattern from the Spooky Sweet Halloween collection. And so she had a pop of Petunia Pop, yeah. And it was really, really pretty. And then basic beige and basic beige for the card base. And I think she did Old Olive and the crushed curry maybe, and pecan pie. Anyways, her card was really pretty, but I wanted to stick to this suite of products today. And I actually really love how this turned out with this designer series paper too. So pretty, but that Petunia Pop version was really nice too. All right, for this one we have an early espresso card base, 5.5 by 8.5. We'll fold that in half. And then I have a piece of basic beige that is 4 by 5.25. And this one I embossed with the Gathering Leaves embossing folder. Isn't that nice? I actually really like that embossing folder. So we're going to adhere this to our card base here. And then the piece of designer series paper is 1.5 by 5.25. So it is going to just line up with the bottom edges of this basic beige here. Like that. All right, next we have labels. And at first I thought these were the traditional labels dies, but actually they're not. This is from another set called Peace on Earth. Maybe you've seen it. It is a sweet collection with a lot of pretty blues. And it has the doves in it. Some great sentiments in that stamp set. But these are from that die set. There's an embossing folder too that these dies fit right in the center of. So pretty. But they're perfect for our sentiment today. So there's 2 sizes of this die. So the larger one I cut in Early Espresso. The smaller one in Basic White. And we're going to stamp our sentiment in Early Espresso ink. And this one is Expressing Heartfelt Gratitude. So pretty. Okay, I'm going to layer this onto my Early Espresso layer, flat, and then we'll add it to the card with some dimensionals. All right, then we're going to stamp some more of those leaves and the cute little acorn. So this goes right here. And then I have a piece of white here so we can do all of our stamping. Now to make it easy, I just did the same colors for these leaves that we used on the last card. So I'm going to do the large one in Cajun Craze ink. Hi Joan, thanks for joining me today. On a Wednesday. It's going to throw everybody off now because you're going to think it's Thursday. I feel like that doesn't have ink in one spot. I don't know why. Maybe that's just how it is actually. Okay. There we go. And we'll use Old Olive for that second leaf. And then I thought we would bring in the crushed curry that's in the designer series paper for the third leaf. Do any of you have pretty fall colors by you? There is no pretty fall colors by me. But it is under 100 degrees, so we do have that. All right, and then Early Espresso for our acorn. Yeah, you weren't expecting me today. I did say it last week, and I posted it a few times, but I am live on Wednesday this week instead of Thursday because of a volleyball game tomorrow. All right, we're going to die cut these, and then we'll add them to our card. You guys probably heard me talk about my daughter's volleyball team last year. Well, this year is kind of, well, I don't know that it's even a rebuilding year. They're gonna have to do more rebuilding next year. But my kids go to a pretty small school, and they let 4th through 8th graders play sports. Sometimes they have an A team and a B team, and sometimes there's just one team, which is the case for volleyball. So there's 3 8th grade girls, including my daughter. There is 2 4th grade girls, a 5th grade girl, and a 7th grade girl. And possibly there will be another 7th grade girl joining them. We're not sure yet. But their team is very young and inexperienced. You know what? I'll have to do that acorn separate. Their team is very young and inexperienced, outside of my daughter and her one other friend that's in 8th grade. And so it's kind of sad. It's my daughter's 8th grade year, and it would be nice if they would just, you know, win a bunch and be successful. But it's hard to expect that out of such a young and inexperienced team. Well, my husband is one of the coaches, and so on the days that he works from home, he's been going to their school for their lunch recess, and he's been doing practices with them. So 3 days a week for probably at least a month now. And they had their first game yesterday, and it was probably against one of the easier teams that they have to play. But they actually won. They won all 3 sets. I was so proud of them. My daughter had a really long serving streak in the first set. And it was so much fun to watch them. And, you know, I'm proud of my husband, too. He's put in a lot of work with them, and he has really been a good coach for them. So I'm excited to see how they do this season, because they are definitely an underdog. But so far, my daughter said, so far we're undefeated. I said, well, enjoy that, because I don't know how long that's going to last, but it was fun to watch them play. All right, got all my leaves. Got to find my card. Oh, Joan says it is cloudy and raining and 66 at her house. Yep, it is definitely warmer than that here. We did actually have some rain last week, which was nice. We actually got dumped on Friday when I picked my kids up from school. It was pouring and we got soaked going from their Ramada that they wait under to the car. In the middle of our walk back to the car, it just started downpouring, so we all got soaked. But in Phoenix, we don't see rain that often, so we all liked it. I suppose, Joan, where you are, you probably get plenty of rain and it's not exciting for you. All right, we're going to add all these leaves with dimensionals, and you probably just need 1 on each leaf, because that way the edges can overlap and your dimensionals aren't going to overlap. And I'm just using up the edge of my dimensionals here, so we don't let those go to waste. I got a little close to the edge of my card this time, but that's okay. All right, and this, I definitely need one of these, maybe. A regular dimensional fits perfectly on the acorn. Okay, we'll put him at a little bit of an angle too. And then this time we're going to tie a double bow with the early espresso thread. If you want to just do a single bow, you can. All right. I'm going to add that with a mini glue dot, and then we'll see if we need to trim the ends at all. So right on top of the acorn there. Maybe we'll trim these just a bit. There's that one. Perfect. Okay, and then of course we have to add a few of our Cajun Craze dots again. So pretty. One there. I went a little crazy adding more this time. I think an odd number usually looks best, so a lot of times I will do 3, especially when there's 3 different sizes like this. You could do 1 in each size, but this time I decided to do 5 because I liked them and I wanted to do more. All right, so there is our 3rd card. All right, let's stick that one in the envelope. All right, and let's show the 3 cards from today again. So let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. This one is my favorite this week, but I like all of them. And remember, if you would like the card kit, you have an extra day to shop this week since we're here on Wednesday instead of Thursday. Shop now through Tuesday, and when you spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after Stampin Rewards, I will send you a card kit to make these 3 cards. And don't forget that this week, to celebrate the start of a new Stampin' Up! Year, I am also including 10 handmade cards from my stash in every card kit. So an extra reason to shop this week. I hope you enjoyed today's cards, and I will see you again next week, back on Thursday. Have a great week. Bye.